Every morning you look in the mirror and you see yourself, but you are not there. What you see is a ghost, a portrait of you from a moment that no longer exists, projected back at you by the universe's only speed limit. And the strange part is not the delay. The strange part is what that delay reveals about the nature of reality itself. Because if you're always seeing the past, even in a mirror 1 foot from your face, then the present, the thing you trust more than anything, may not exist at all. Let's start somewhere that feels ordinary. You're standing in front of a bathroom mirror, you blink, you see yourself blink. Simple, immediate now, except it's not now. Light left your eyelids, traveled to the mirror, bounced off and traveled back to your eyes. That trip takes time, a tiny, almost laughable amount of time, about 2 nanoseconds. 2 billionths of a second. Notice how your intuition immediately dismisses this. It says, 2 nanoseconds? That's nothing. That doesn't count. But here's what's interesting. Your intuition just used the word nothing to describe the speed limit of the entire universe. Nothing in existence, no particle, no signal, no information can travel faster than light. Not because we haven't built the engine, because the geometry of space itself forbids it. And that means every single image you've ever seen, every face, every sunset, every galaxy in a photograph, every one of them is a message from the past. The mirror is not a window into the present. It is a time machine, a very, very short one. But short is relative, and that word, relative, is where everything starts to unravel. Most people assume the universe runs on a universal clock, one tick, one moment, experienced the same way everywhere by everything. This is so built into how we feel time that questioning it seems absurd. We talk about the same time the way we talk about gravity, as if it's a fixed background that holds everything in place. It isn't. Einstein dismantled this assumption over a century ago, and the evidence has only grown sharper since. Here is a real-world anchor, GPS satellites. The clocks on those satellites run slightly faster than clocks on the ground, because they're farther from Earth's gravity and because they're moving at high velocity. If engineers didn't correct for this every single day, your GPS would drift by about 11 kilometers every day. They correct for it using the equations of relativistic physics, the same equations that say time is not a fixed background, but a flexible quantity, shaped by mass and speed. The math behind your navigation app is the math of a universe with no universal now. There is no single shared present. There are only layers of nows stitched together by the speed of light, and we call the stitching reality. This is a simplified explanation to make the idea intuitive. Imagine every object in the universe as a lighthouse, constantly sending out light in all directions. You can only receive a signal when that light reaches you, so you never see where something is. You see where it was when the light left. The further something is from you, the further back in time you're looking at it. The sun you see right now left 8 minutes ago. The nearest star is 4 years old by the time it reaches your eyes. The Andromeda Galaxy, visible to the naked eye on a clear night, is 2.5 million years old in your field of vision. The universe you see is a collage of different pasts, assembled and handed to your brain as one seamless continuous now. Your brain is not a camera, it's an editor. Now here is where the mirror becomes something more than a mirror. To see anything at all, light has to interact with matter. A photon, a particle of light, leaves a source, strikes a surface, and reaches your eye. And the moment it does, something happens that took decades to confront and is still not fully resolved. Let's build to it carefully. You've probably heard of electricity. You might picture electrons racing through a wire the way water surges through a pipe, fast, direct, relentless. This is a misconception, and it's worth correcting because it matters. Electrons in a wire barely move, a few centimeters per hour, sometimes slower. What moves at nearly the speed of light is the signal, the electromagnetic field that propagates through the wire. The electrons don't carry the energy to your lamp. The field does. The electrons are the medium. The field is the message. Now hold that thought. Photons, particles of light, have no such medium. A photon is not a signal riding through something. A photon is the thing itself, and unlike an electron, a photon has no mass. Zero, exactly. Because it has no mass, it moves at the maximum speed the universe allows, not by accelerating to it, but by existing at it from the moment it's created. This is why nothing with mass can reach the speed of light. It's not a rule imposed from outside, it's a consequence of what mass is. The speed limit isn't stamped onto the universe like a traffic sign. It's woven into the geometry of space and time, and here is where the quantum mirror appears. Pause and predict what happens next. A photon leaves your face, travels to the mirror, and returns to your eye. While it's traveling, before anything detects it, what state is it in? Is it a particle moving from point A to point B in a straight line, or is it a wave, smeared out across all possible paths simultaneously? The answer, as confirmed by every experiment ever designed to test it, both and neither. And this is not a poetic riddle, it is the actual documented answer. Quantum mechanics tells us that before a photon is detected, before it lands on a surface that registers its presence, it exists as a probability wave. It has no single location. It has a distribution of possible locations. It is, in the most literal physical sense, everywhere it could possibly be, all at once. And the moment something interacts with it, a mirror, an eye, a detector, that wave collapses. The probability field selects a location. The particle becomes real, not just observed. Real. Reality, at the quantum level, is not a thing that exists and then gets looked at. It is a thing that crystallizes into existence through the act of interaction. The mirror is not reflecting you. It is participating in making you. You've probably felt this without realizing why. That strange unease when you look at a photograph of yourself and you look slightly wrong, different from the mirror, almost like a stranger. The reason is that a mirror flips your image left to right. The face in the photo is the face everyone else sees. The face in the mirror is the face only you see, reversed. There are two of you, and neither one is the present. Now let's take this to a scale where the strangeness becomes impossible to dismiss. Muons are subatomic particles created when cosmic rays from deep space slam into Earth's upper atmosphere, about 15 kilometers above your head. They decay in roughly 2.2 microseconds. At the speeds they travel, they shouldn't survive long enough to reach the ground. Basic arithmetic says they should disappear miles above you, but they don't. They arrive in enormous numbers. Thousands of muons pass through your body every second right now. They survive because time, from their perspective, runs slower. They move so fast that their internal clock is stretched, dilated, by velocity. Their 2.2 microseconds become several hundred microseconds in our frame of reference. They age slowly. They arrive alive. Two objects moving differently through space, experiencing different amounts of time. Both of them real. Both of them right. Neither one experiencing the universal now that feels so obvious to your intuition. Muons are not a theoretical curiosity. They are physical proof that the present is not shared. It is personal. So now here is the question that has been building since the opening. If light takes time to travel, even from a mirror 1 foot from your face, if time runs at different rates depending on where you are and how fast you're moving, if particles have no definite position until something interacts with them, if the universe you see is a mosaic of different pasts, assembled by a brain that evolved to survive rather than to perceive the cosmos as it actually is, then what exactly is the present? Pause and predict. Imagine a mirror placed 1 light year away. It takes a year for light to reach it from your face, another year for the reflection to travel back. When the image finally arrives, who do you see? You see yourself from 2 years ago. Your exact face, your exact expression, a version of you that may no longer exist in that form, certainly a version of you that no longer lives in that moment. You are looking at yourself the way you look at a dead star, still shining, long after the source has changed. Now bring it back to the mirror in your bathroom. The physics is identical. The scale is different. The principle is the same. Every reflection is a historical document. Every image is evidence. You are never seeing the world as it is. You are seeing the world as it was, constrained precisely and inevitably by the speed at which information can move. The present is not a platform, it's a horizon. You're always moving toward it. You never arrive, and yet here you are, perceiving, questioning, noticing. That's not a failure of human cognition. That's the most remarkable thing about it. A brain shaped by evolution to dodge predators and find food somehow learned to ask why it can't see itself in real time. Somehow learned to follow the logic all the way down to quantum probability fields and the geometry of space-time. Somehow learned to look in the mirror and see not just a face but a question. The universe is not broken. It is not hiding. It is not playing tricks. It is doing exactly what its structure demands, sending light at the only speed it can travel. collapsing quantum waves only when they're forced to choose, running time at rates determined by mass and velocity, and leaving you with just enough information to realize what's happening. What you see in a mirror is not a flaw in perception. It is the universe enforcing its own architecture, and leaving you just enough light to notice that you're always looking at a ghost. Reality doesn't arrive in real time. It arrives as light, as evidence, assembled by a mind at the exact edge of what physics allows. That edge is not a limitation to grieve. It is the shape of what's real.